What's up, guys, and welcome back to the JP and Trav show on the JP and Trav YouTube channel, and also live from Travis's X account. It's host with the most, JP, and to my right, I have my esteemed co-host, brother and friend, Travis J. Davidson, better known as Prophet Trav. Today, and we'll get into why his name says that here in a second. But Trav, how you feeling, man?
Man, I'm good. I'm real good. I big day, obviously radio. Got a haircut. You know, always get faded up. Once a week over there at boardroom. Finished the garden that I've been building, which it's a big undertaking. But finished that. Excited about that, and made myself a little. You know how they do like the chopped sandwich boards where it's like, oh, you can make a whatever at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Throw all this crap on a cutting board, cut it all up, add some mayo, mustard, all that. Well, I kind of got that, but I'm not doing the sandwich style because I didn't have any time to eat dinner because I had to go to Lowe's, pick up some more soil, get all that laid down. So I'm going to add a little rescue dog hot sauce in there because everything needs a little spice. This is their tequila lime flavor they're coming out with. So I was like, you know what? I made it, and I was like, you know what? I put some of the Hawaiian herb salt came back from Maui with, and it just needed that punch, the tequila lime punch. So that's not like a brand deal or anything. They're just a local Norman, Oklahoma City company that I definitely was going to put on the food. So, anyways, how are you?
Man, I'm doing well, man. I had a good Easter. Obviously, I know a lot of Sooner Nation is, obviously, yes, excited about the resurrection of our Lord and Savior, but also, got some extra news on the Sooner front. So that was, fun and interesting. The other thing that was fun was I wanted to make a video, and Kirsten was like, "Hey, I'll just record it for you since I'm right here." So the responses I've been getting from that is so funny. Like people are like, "Oh man, JP's talking to OUX like it's his daughter, and he's disappointed in them." And I'm like, well, I kind of was, it's just like not. Yeah, we talked about it on the show before plenty of times. Just everybody we talked about it last week. Everybody feels like they want to be an insider, and they get to this point, and even I'll be honest, Trav, guys helped me with this the last few years. Really, probably I've been better the last 2 years, but like when me and Trav kind of first became good friends, one of the things she always said to me was like, "Hey, like you always want to be careful about the way you speak about like others," and obviously I'm careful about that in general. That's just how I live my life, but even just being a fan and just wanting to raise, tweet, or do all these other things, you can just say something slick in the moment, and when you're trying to like okay, I actually want to be a Sooner content guy, or like I want to have an opportunity to meet and talk to players like a lot of people act like they do, then you can't just be up and saying any and everything, even in situations that are frustrating. Like Trav and I will talk to each other. We have group chats that we'll talk in about maybe some frustrations that we have on a certain particular subject, but it's not going. We're not like just bleh, out on X, which I feel like we saw a lot of people do, and now they have to walk it back.
Just emotional, right?
Yeah,
Emotional. Like when in life, like it is always best to make decisions, speak, post when you remove emotion. So there are a lot of people legitimately going through the stages of grief, JP, and it was interesting because it was like they were, I don't know all the stages, but I know that they were, bargaining and then, angry and all these things. And, oh man, he didn't play any, he only played 2 tackles. We can go get that, man. He's a bum. He's a bust. He's all this. And then like, it's just crazy. You can't, what are you gaining by putting that out there? Right.
Right.
And I think part of it is a lot of people think, hey, when these other fan bases are making fun of OU, they're thinking of me when they do it. So I have to express my frustration. And when I say me, I'm saying like the third person me, like every Twitter account has some type of egocentricity where it's, hey, look, like all my buddies, they know I'm the OU guy. I've talked enough noise on here that they think I'm the OU. So if Davis Stone leans, I got to get ahead of this because I'm angry about it. The problem with it, JP, we're getting closer and closer to people just not watching college football anymore. And I know that sounds crazy, especially to, a lot of people in the comments, but especially the couple hundred that have joined us already.
Yeah.
Like, you took away signing day. That used to be big. I mean, it happens right near my birthday. So I always was like, oh man, like signing day. And then my birthday, like I love the month of February. And then now we don't have a spring game this year. Right? Now we got players holding out. Maybe of playoff games holding out. Yeah. Now we've got a homegrown 5-star, from Dell City that leaves us. Like, I think it just there's think of 1,000 rubber bands or 1,000 ropes, and they're all woven together. Every time you snip one of those ropes, it risks snapping. And maybe the spring game was one of those threads. Maybe the National Signing Day going away was one of those threads. Maybe the free transfer was one of those threads. Maybe holding out was one of those threads. Maybe the 5-star leaving, the homegrown 5-star was one of those threads. Maybe the expanded playoff was one of those threads. Maybe the playoff in general was one of those threads. Like, every time you cut, like, it doesn't seem like a big deal, until you cut that last one where people are like, the rope broke, man. And that's what college football is going to have to deal with, because the reason the money is there for all of this is because of TV deals. If you continue to strip away, and just warp the sport into whatever it's going to end up being, you won't be able to sell the TV rights for $1 billion to ESPN. You won't be able to sell the TV rights to CBS and Fox for $1 billion, because you won't be able to sell the ads on those games and the commercials to pay for it, because people are going to be disenfranchised. You're going to see it dip. And I think that's what I think a lot of people felt, right? How many times did you see, JP? Man, I think I'm done with college football.
Yeah. A lot.
That's what worries me, is because people are that close. They'll watch in the fall, but we're not talking about the people that want to spend their Wednesday night with their boys, JP and Trav. Yeah. We're not talking about Boomer 129. Boomer 129 is going to watch. Sooner Cowboy is going to watch. He's going to be hating. He's going to watch. Les is going to watch. You know what I mean? John Russell's going to watch. We're all going to watch. It's the people that are on the fringe, that are just tuning into the games. Hey, I don't know anything about recruiting or the portal or, who we're in on. I might be in a Facebook group or something, but I'm just going to tune in, in the fall. It's the same people that say, hey, big Sooner fan here. When do we play this weekend? And it's the bye week. Those are the people that are at risk of being lost.
Yeah. No, you're right. And it's, it's to the point where the NCAA, or whether it blows up or if it stays packed, it needs to do something to regulate what's happening, right? Obviously, NIL is going to be what it is. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. But like you said, when we have guys that are holding out for money, and I know some people may feel like, well, it's a natural consequence of like what happened to Nico, where it seems like he's reportedly going to be making $1 million less dollars at UCLA than he already had signed for at Tennessee, even though he was asking for double that. And so you can look at it like that, but the reality is there are kids and there are families out there that are probably going to try to do the same thing, even regardless of what they saw Nico get or happen to Nico. Because at the end of the day, they're going to, well, I'm different. This situation is different. And I feel like the fact that it already happened set a precedent in and of itself, in my opinion. Now, I feel like the thing that's going to sway it the most is the NCAA coming out and putting in some sort of, CBA of some sort, right? But go ahead.
I was going to say it's these families might think their kid's different, but how many sports parents, you have to deal with sports parents, you're an athletic director, you've coached. How many parents think that their kid is the best on the team and deserves more playing time?
A lot.
Or at least deserves more playing time. Some might not think he's the best on the team. But
yeah,
I would say it is much more likely that parents, because they love their children, have a higher borderline delusional sense of how talented their kid is.
Yeah.
Right. We see this all over social media.
Oh my God.
My kid's the best this. My kid's the best quarterback. My kid's the best point guard in 5th grade nationally. Like what? Like, you're going to be a nightmare to deal with if this NIL stuff didn't get worked out, because you're always going to think that your kid, you go from wanting more minutes on your high school team, wanting more reps, to now there's money involved. So now I want more money because, my kid, I talked to some people at practice, man, my kid, best one out there, according to some of the people at practice. So it's frustrating because now the parents are going to put those kids in horrible positions. Horrible positions.
Yeah.
I mean, Nico, that's 7 figures a year. And deeper into it, it's going from no state income tax in Tennessee, in Knoxville, which has way lower cost of living than Los Angeles, California, with California state taxes. Like, you go, like, not only is just the number on the check smaller, but how much actual money you see, your net earnings is dramatically affected. So, he could end up losing $1.5 million, $1.8 million in a year. Because you thought, hey, I've got leverage. Well, overplay your hand. And that's the thing. You're about to see it transition from, hey, my kid's the best, he should get more minutes on his high school basketball team, to, hey, my kid's the best, he should be paid more money. And it's just not the case. Like, it's just not the case. So it's, I don't know, it's unfortunate. What did you think about Hunter Yurichek from Arkansas saying that they're gonna go after Madden Ialiamava? Now that I've figured out how to say his name, he's left.
Arkansas said they was going after him?
Yeah, so Madden is Nico's little brother.
Yeah.
He's leaving, but they had paid him all this money. And now they're like, hey, the university is demanding that money back. The collective is. And they're going to sue him over it.
Oh.
So, and Hunter Yurichek had this big, speech about, or had this big Twitter edit about it. I mean, it's big. Ialiamava.
I didn't even know. I didn't even realize he was at Arkansas.
I had to say it in my head a couple times. Ialiamava. There we go.
Yeah.
But I think, like, what do you think? What do you think about that? Is it, as an athletic director, what would your thought process be on trying to go after a kid's NIL?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, bro, like ADs, this is not a fun time, especially to be a college athletic director. Like the amount of of you talk about obviously you have to do parents a little bit less in college because they're not there all the time. They're not as active, right? But I think just the headache that making sure, especially with these larger sports, that these kids get their NIL funds, making sure the coach is still able to freaking coach his team, his or her team, is just a lot. And while I could say, I feel like it could be easy for me to say, hey, man, like, let that kid have his money. You agreed to this. I also could understand, like, and again, this is me coming blind into this because I haven't even seen this story, really read up on it. But I also understand being like, hey, like, if you are here and supposed to get this money from our collective, it's not going to follow you. Like, it's setting a precedent in a way, because then more kids are going to feel like they do the same thing and are entitled to the same money.
Here's what I think on the Madden Arkansas situation. I don't think it happens unless Josh Heupel stands up to Nico's camp. I think that Josh and the real reason that athletic directors didn't want to go after NIL money after a kid transferred is because of public perception.
Yeah,
I think that Chancellor and AD, Vice Chancellor AD Hunter Yurachek at Arkansas.
yeah.
I think he saw Josh Heupel be treated like a hero in the public eye. And I think when he saw that and saw the public perception of Josh Heupel, keep in mind, lost his starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Tennessee fans should be furious with him. But instead, Tennessee fans are rallying around him. I think that emboldened the AD at Arkansas, Hunter Yurachek, and he made this stand because of it. I think much like Matt Rule did with the spring game, he was kind of the first through the wall. I think Josh Heupel in Tennessee were the first through the wall with saying, no, absolutely not. You are not in charge. You're not going to be able to renegotiate and hold out. Bye. We'll go find somebody that wants to be here. I think that going over so well directly impacted Arkansas, and I think it will impact decisions all over the country after this, because I think coaches and ADs understand that these fans have had enough. Like, It's not anti-player to be pro-team.
Correct.
And they have to understand we're pro-team. And getting good players obviously helps the team. Yeah. But Tennessee fans said, hey, Nico, get out of here, man. Get out of here. You're not bigger than the program. That's Bob Stoops, right? No one man's bigger than the program. So I think this was a huge move for college football. And I think the Arkansas move wouldn't have happened if the Tennessee move wouldn't have happened.
No, that makes sense. And I think you're seeing, again, like you talked about at the beginning of the show, there's a shift, right, from fans don't want there to be a shift in terms of you have NFL guys that like a lot of times NFL guys will hold out because in a lot of ways sometimes it does feel like NFL guys are bigger than their organization because a lot of people go for one player a lot of times, like star driven. And not that college football doesn't have its star driven qualities, but college football has always been about the program, always has.
Right.
No matter who has come through, and that's really not going to change, especially with where we're at now. You still have boomers, you still have Gen Xers, and even older millennials like us that still will hold to that. While we can maybe understand some of the hey, younger guys stuff, the majority of college football fans now, they are still about the program. They're willing to give some leeway and say, hey, we understand you can get paid, but it's not to the point where you're snotty about something. Now we're going to 4 different teams in 4 years trying to catch a payday. And a lot of it again is in a way, and this is a larger conversation. I know we have a few other things to talk about, but as bad as yes, the NCAA preyed on maybe some student athletes just in general, not allowing them to have some compensation while they made a bunch of money off their backs for a long period of time. As much as that's understood, I think this is even dare I say, a potentially even more dangerous situation than even that was, because there's no defined lines. Like I remember talking to my sister, like saying, "Hey, you need to be careful about who you align yourself with, paying attention to if you even get." And again, my sister was a track and field athlete. Like she didn't. It's not like she got a bunch of NIL. Like he got a little bit, but it wasn't anything crazy like football. But I even told her like, "Hey, you need to be aware of like what you're looking at, what you're signing." And that's from an older brother who cares, and like I'm not pressuring her to do anything, but you have a lot of these 18 to freaking 22-year olds who have families that are like depending upon their collegiate money as if they're in the NFL. And I think if this doesn't get rectified, dude, I think we could see a potential like study on this done years and years from now of like how many kids got burned out in college and never maybe realized their full potential NFL wise, or their full NFL earnings, what it could have been. Well, a lot of people over years like, okay, when we made it to the NFL because we got that $30 million contract. Yeah, I'm not saying a million is measly because it's not, but I'm saying like comparatively. And so now you're having families and we're gonna get to talk a little bit about David Stone's situation. You have families that are like, hey, we need this money, man. We're like, we gonna do this. We know we know you're gonna get us. And so now it's potentially hurting kids' ability to even lock in to be that type of athlete down the road, that they can even freaking get drafted. And the fact that their draft stock could even plummet due to, well, they're a flight risk. Well, they're, being labeled as this. So I think this is almost dang near as dangerous, if not more, than what we even saw before. And I get that what we had before wasn't working either. But this certainly isn't, because you're putting these kids in crazy, crazy situations.
Well, to the fan, the old way was the best way, right? Because it's not their money, right?
Yeah.
But it's the irony of it is the fan drives the money. So it's you built a sport on the back of kids doing it for the name on the front of the jersey, not the back, right? School pride, state pride, all these things. Well, really what it was, JP, was kids from Texas and California and Nevada and Georgia and Florida didn't come to Oklahoma because they loved Oklahoma. They loved the name on the front. You go places because you want to win titles and you want to go to the NFL. So what school is going to give me the best chance to realize those goals, right? So with that's gone. At least like the state pride issue. Like, yeah, you've got your dudes like, yes, Danny Okoye, David Stone, Marcus James, the guys that are putting on like for the home state, right? Trinae Washington, Tristan Haynes, and I could go on and on. But Gentry and RSJ, and we got a lot of Oklahoma guys. But I mean, now that there's heavy NIL, the images of these athletes have changed.
Yeah.
Because now people get on social media and tear them to hell. And why do they say it? Well, you're going to ask me for NIL money. You're getting paid now. You're a professional athlete. I can say whatever the hell I want. Well, yeah, but don't you feel kind of gross as like a 60-year-old dude trashing a 19-year-old? Doesn't that just feel weird? I don't know. Like
What were you doing at 19? What were you doing at 19?
Right.
60-year-old.
Right.
Like, be for real.
Yeah. Those are some conversations that Shannon's probably having with somebody right now. But it's like the facade of what brought fans in, right? The state pride, the school pride, that's going away. And the fans are what bring the money in the first place. And I'm not saying NIL donations or whatever. I'm saying viewers, eyeballs.
Yes.
That's the issue. So if you start to disenfranchise those people, you might have a bigger problem on your hands. And to your point about the families, $1 million is a lot of money. Again, you use that round figure, so we're just going to use that round figure.
Yeah.
if you all would want to type into some of the financial advising websites and say, I'm 20 years old, how much money do I need to retire myself and my two 45-year-old parents? It's going to be more than $1 million.
Yep.
A lot more than $1 million. So that's the issue, is that money doesn't stretch. And then taxes, you got to pay taxes on it. And that eats into it. And, for a lot of people, this is the biggest check they've ever seen, which means they're in a tax bracket they've never been a part of. And so they can get caught off guard by that. And, do you think that, Nico has ever seen a $2.4 million check made out to him?
Right.
I don't. I mean, I don't know the family, but that comes in a different bracket. There's just some different things. And John brings up, they was saying that even when they were on scholarship. Yeah. I mean, now athletes have it the best of both worlds. They get their salary cap now. They get to earn money on their name, and they still get full room and board. Therapy, insurance, incredible workout facilities, nutrition, sleep, stuff. You get tutors. They're well taken care of. So, I think it might get to a situation where maybe they get the NIL money, but then some of those benefits kind of are taken out of it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is what we would normally charge for tutors, so it's got to come out of it. This is what we normally charge, something like that. But yeah, that's the frustration of it. Les brings up a good point. If they took half that million and invested it at 18 years old, they'd be loaded at the retirement age. And OU's doing this. OU's got their banking partner involved, and they're teaching them how to invest, right? But yeah, it's an unfortunate situation where the sport's at. I do think that the Nico situation woke up a lot of people. And I think it woke up some people that thought, oh, all the fans are on my side. And, oh, crap, why are they aligning with Josh Heupel and not me? I'm the quarterback. We're the star of the show. Uh-oh, why are they aligning with them? And then everybody's kind of looking around going, we've got more power against the money-hungry, greedy players. I'm not trying to paint a broad brushstroke to every single player out there.
Right.
Get paid what you deserve, but like the money hungry, I'm going to sit out of games unless you up my already high check. I'm already getting paid 7 figures. I want to get paid more, or else I'm going to quit on the team. Yeah, that person doesn't have the leverage in the public opinion, and the public opinion is what's going to drive the sport.
Yeah. Nope, 100%. I agree. Let's move on to we kind of got into a little bit, but let's just at least recap for a second, and then we can get into really the draft, a little bit as well, holistically, but obviously, who we're looking for Sooners wise, and then if we still have some time, we can hit some of the, the summer stuff, but we got time for that too, maybe some questions. But David Stone, obviously, I think it was Thursday or Friday, informed Oklahoma. I don't even know if he actually ever informed, if he just hopped into the portal, right? And it obviously sent OU X into a frenzy.
When's the last time OU fans were in that big of a frenzy?
I mean, you don't think Lincoln, do you? Do you think it's close to Lincoln?
Maybe.
You think it's
Ryan? I'm thinking negative.
Yeah.
When okay, Topher says Lincoln and Caleb. Chad, help me out. I'm trying to think because that's what my mind goes to.
No, I mean,
when is the last time Oklahoma fans
Warzy
were
said
were in
comparing it to
this.
Lincoln. So, that happened.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because it did. It was out of the blue.
It was out of the blue.
Stutzman and Bowman and my Dallas Cowboys, get out of here.
Yeah, we gonna get to it. But
I
yeah,
mean, what
I
about what
give him
about
the best
Caden? What
credit.
about Caden Green?
Oh yeah, Caden Green was pretty. That was pretty nasty. But I feel like this is okay. I think of Caden Green. I think of Winery, but I think Winery is probably lower on the totem pole. It's like yeah, but I think yeah, Winery, Caden Green, David Stone, and then Lincoln. I feel like from the last few years of things happening,
I think
that
that's
that
fair.
is definitely up there because and it's even worse on David because he's an Oklahoma kid. Like he's from Dale City, like you said, like grew up in
Right.
Oklahoma City. So it's like, how could you want to leave and just do it in that fashion? And then again, the reports of like he's money hungry on top of what Nico's already done. It OU fans were certainly not going to have it, and you saw some of that vitriol come out, right? And so
Yeah.
Gerald McCoy, to his credit, had tweeted out proud of you and all these things and people was getting on him. I will say I think in the moment Gerald was being very vague and I understand why. Don't get me wrong. I get why he
Yeah.
was being
I don't
vague,
think Gerald
but
was reading the room very well.
no, not at all. Like for him to say that, he's like, well, like if I'm the most pro OU guy and I'm saying I support him, then what do you think that means? And it's like we don't know.
Brother,
Like
tell us. Brother,
it could
tell
mean
us.
anything. Like
Right. We know you know the kid. We know that you know his family. Like, tell us. Like, and
right.
even if you don't, like, I get where he's coming from a little bit because like I use this thinking occasionally when it's like, okay, like if you've seen me with a coach or a player and you have never met or met anybody really that knows that coach or player,
Yeah.
and I'd say something about that coach and player, and then you try and argue it, maybe I won't tell you exactly why I have the opinion that I have, but at least you know that it's an informed opinion.
Yeah.
We know that Gerald's opinion is informed. The issue is the timing. Everybody was losing their mind. It's just not the time to, you know, to just act like they're the ones like don't act like they're the ones that are being unreasonable and irrational, even if they are. Like give them that little bit of grace in that moment in time to vent a little bit, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. Fans are gonna say some stuff. Now, I even in my video, my issue is more on character defamation than it was like accountability. Because I think at the end of the day, yes, they're college kids, but they're still gonna be held accountable, especially when the money's in it. Like that's part of it, even before money
Especially
is in it.
when when you're getting hit up by one Oklahoma every day asking,
Yeah,
hey, do you think you could spare?
yeah,
Donate like a champion today. It's like, oh,
yeah.
God, like
Fans not gonna let that go. But I think again, when you go to attack a 19-year-old kid, right, like you said, and just act like you know him personally, like, oh, you're this, you're lazy, you whatever was said, like that's where I feel like it's like, hey man, like you gotta breathe, you gotta take a step back. Anyways, what let's talk a little bit about what do you think, or even things that right, was said to sway him to be back.
man, I think he just had to man up and be honest with himself about where he wanted to be, why he wanted to be there. He wants to be at Oklahoma. He loves it here. He's got brothers on the team, brothers as even Jacob Henry described it. Obviously, we know how close he is with Jaden Jackson. We
Yeah,
know how close he is with Todd Bates. We know this was a decision that was weighing on him for a while, and I think he might have needed a little bit of that. Hey, it like the way I described it was, how a lot of people are like, like, do you want to see if you could attend your own funeral? Would you want to just to see who shows up and what people say? Like, I know that's dramatic, but like, I think he saw some of the outrage, and I think that hurt him a little bit, because he loves OU, and people are saying things about him that he's always been a guy that likes a lot of love. So I think they restructured a deal, maybe some upfront, help him out with some stuff. But from what I know, he didn't get it wasn't like a, hey, I want a raise, and you're going to give me a raise or I'm going to leave, and then you gave him a raise. Like, that's not what happened. So
it was the same.
Right. It was nuanced, changed around a little bit, already heavily incentive based, but, move a base down, move incentives up, maybe change the incentives to where they're, more attainable, maybe change out the payment schedule to help with some tax time, because it's tax season. Right. So, just massaging some things like that. But I think it ultimately came down to he wanted to be at Oklahoma. He wanted to play with Jaden Jackson. He wants to play for Todd Bates. Like, I think he understands that the best thing for him to do is to stay here, log 300 or 400 snaps this next season, and keep building towards, the NFL.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. And he has everything in front of him, man. I mean, he's going to be part of a defensive tackle rotation that could be one of the best in the conference, if not, top 10 in the country. And I think that, being and having a lot more talent in the room, it's gonna, in my opinion, bode well. If you think about like, I'm not comparing Oklahoma to Alabama, but you think about how Alabama was at their peak, even though where they had 5 stars on 5 stars, so much talent, but sitting in the room, people sometimes have to wait their turn. But also when you were in the rotation, like being able to be fresh and be able to make plays, like, it helps a lot.
Put good stuff on tape. Tape.
Yes, 100%. I mean, again, it's like, our boy G baby. Like, what happened for him last year? Like, he, finally cracked through, and when he was in specific packages for him, man, he thrived.
Looked really good. And he's going to play a big role this year.
He sure is.
And it's helpful to Oklahoma because David Stone is right on that second line right now, right? You've got, Dominic and Jaden and Grayson, kind of, your three. And then David will play the snaps that DeJoun Terry got last year, essentially. So, that's over 300 snaps. It's easier to go get a starter out of the portal because you can guarantee a starting role like a Dominic Williams. And it's easier to go get a project like we got today. It's hard to get that second guy because the second guy can usually go start other places.
Yeah.
I'm freezing on my end. I'm going to leave and try and come back on my other Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Or like on my hotspot. So chat with the chat for a little while.
Yeah, we'll transition to the draft and start talking about that. And then, you can pop in when you can. So guys, let me know what you guys think about tomorrow. Like, where do you feel like Danny, Billy, Ethan? I mean, do you even think Ethan has an opportunity to go in the draft? Do you think he's going to be undrafted? Do you feel like, again, Billy's going to be a day 2 guy? Do you think Danny's going to be a day 2 guy? Danny probably has more of a day 2 feel to him, I think, from what I've seen than Billy does. But give me some thoughts in the comments and let's chat about this. Hope the defense doesn't play as many snaps next year. Oh yeah, I mean, if the defense plays as many snaps as they did this past year, things would have gone just catastrophically wrong, for real. Because if you think about not only how bad our offense was and how much we didn't get first downs, but I talked about it last week when we were talking about Jackson and what he had said, allegedly, or, I still haven't seen the video, but allegedly there's audio of it, according to Mike Steely. You guys remember the Tennessee game? When we're giving like we get a turnover and turnovers happen twice right after. You remember the Missouri game? I mean, it was just like we couldn't put anything together. Obviously the South Carolina. I mean, just how catastrophic the season was offensively. We've never seen anything like that since what the early '90s, and even then, man, it was really pretty bad. So yeah, I think that it would have to have been just a crazy, crazy season again if the defense is going to play that many snaps or the offense scored a lot, right? John Russell says he thinks Danny's going to go in the second round. Okay, that's what he's hearing. Matter of fact, why don't somebody look up a mock draft? And maybe I'll look up a mock draft, see if I can pull it up here for you guys really quick, and see where we have people going. Let me see if there's a mock draft through through the second round, because that's when we're looking for a few of our guys to potentially go. They may not. I know mock drafts only typically do the first round. When do you guys think? I know people are huge fans of the Sanders, but when do you guys think Shador's going to go? That's what I want to know. Let's see. Bowman third or fourth. Ethan could be sixth. Yeah, I mean Ethan had a really good combine, guys. So I mean, Ethan being sixth would not shock me. Billy, I think third or fourth is probably about accurate. I know he's got a lot of people that like him and like what he had to do. His measurables aren't amazing, but again, he plays football. He's a football freaking player, so you have that. Boom 129 says, I'm guessing from the fan perspective, OU is like, give us money and donate and then donate some more. They have no problem taking our money, but have a problem when we have an opinion. That's fair. I mean, again, if you're going to be giving, just similar to like if you're in a community, like, of course, there's going to be an issue with, or if you have issues, you're allowed to say something and speak up. And I think that you guys are, and we are as fans, allowed to speak up. I think there's a difference, as I was alluding to in my video, between speaking up and like being crazy, right, and over the top. That stuff, But to say that fans aren't allowed to voice their frustrations is not wrong or not right. Worst quarterback play I ever saw from the swear PSS. I mean, was I wish I could have shown you my face when the Tennessee game happened. I was depressed. I was at a loss. By the time the South Carolina game happened, I was like, I expected it. I hated it from Mike Hawkins. He made some bad decisions, but mostly the offensive line was putrid as well. But I almost expected it, so it didn't hurt me as much. But against Tennessee, bro, for Jackson to crumble like that, we was expecting so much out of him. Nah, fam. Nah. Anyone that ran faster than Ollie Gordon. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what Ollie's draft status is going to look like. But did we say when we thought Shador was going to go? CBS has Cam Ward going number 1, which I think is crazy. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about that. CBS doesn't even have I don't think CBS has Shador going in the first round at all, which would be crazy. They have Jackson Dart going to the Giants at the end of the round. And whoa, hold on. I don't even know why I'm on CBS, to be honest. CBS don't know what they're talking about half the time. So hopefully we can get Trav back here in a second. Yeah, for real. Dude brought all my friends out. NCC opener, all excited, and just it was terrible. Yeah, I can't imagine, bro. I would have been I'm planning on going to Knoxville this year, so hopefully we have a good showing. Shador's probably going to Steelers in the 20s. Yeah, I know that's not what they're gonna like, but that's what happens, man. That's what happens. Sorry, I'm doing my job here. I don't see it's ADing is crazy, man. I just had I'm a 1A school. I had a 4A school. Say, hey, would you want to play our boys and girls team in basketball? Nope, sorry, nope. We ain't getting boat raced by 80. Talking about, oh, we'll give you pizza. Nope, I'm good. We good off that, dog. I ain't destroying my kids' confidence. They need to be pushed, but yeah, man, we ain't at that level. We ain't at that level. Sanders to Giants at number 3. Still the second or third quarterback on the board. Sanders supposedly got cooked by one of their teams after an interview. Yeah, I mean, I heard that. If the Browns take him, they getting clown, bro. They getting clown. I can't. I don't care if people are like JP. Let it go. Let the Browns breathe. I'm not gonna let the Browns breathe, bro. What they did to Baker was sickening, and they're getting everything they deserve until Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski are gone. I don't care. I don't care. Okay, that's how I feel. Anyways, yeah, I think that we're really looking at Danny going probably in, like you guys said, the second round. I think there's a lot of teams that seem to like him. Sooners Wire, our boy John Williams over at Sooners Insider. It's not OU Insider. I can't even talk. I'm sorry. Locked On Sooners. It wasn't going through my head. Had a little mock draft he had drafted up. We got Trav back in the fold. We got baby girl dog sleeping here. Let me go ahead and share this screen with y'all as we're getting Trav back in the fold. You good, Trav? We here? I think he's still muted.
I had to reset the router, so we're back. We're good again. But yeah, Clea took my spot, so I was wondering if she was gonna do the rest of the pod.
Yeah. All right. So we have. I said our boy John Williams made a little mock draft on Sooners Wire that we'll look through. What did he say? Huh. It says in the 4th round, Reed's projected to take Billy Bowman with Danny Stutzman dropping lower than. Huh. Do you think Danny's not going to go until the 4th round?
I think they're both probably 3rd round.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, Danny's coverage, he didn't put a ton of it on tape. I think people may worry about that. He's got the speed, he's got the strength, he's got the production. He's been insanely productive. So you're not that productive in the SEC without being a dog. So I also think he'll get a boost for playing in Brent Venables' defense for so long. Brent Venables has been coaching a long time, as many know. He has a lot of connections in the NFL and in the scout world, things like that. And kind of like playing offensive line for Bill Bedenbaugh. If you are in charge of calling Brent Venables' defense and manning the middle for that unit, you're gonna get a boost. So, I think that, and then I think Billy, it's a size thing, but it's just he's again productive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the interceptions are there, the hits are there, right? You can tell he was a two-way player. He's an absolute playmaker. So, unfortunately, there are people that are like, hey, if I want a safety, I want him to be, 6'2", 210, or 6'2", 220. It's like, I mean, cool, I guess, but don't you want one that can play football?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what I would want, is one that can
Right.
play football. So, anyways, they both ran well. Billy ran better than I even thought he was going to run. And then, Ethan, I think, earned himself a draft spot because of his testing numbers. His bench press was incredible. He ran well. He interviewed extremely well. I know that after he got done with his testing, there were many teams that kind of hit him back up like, oh, hey, I think we need to get to know you. I think there are a lot of people that probably want him to fall out of the draft so they can sign him as a free agent.
Right.
But I think he worked his way up. The real question is, who goes first, Billy or Danny?
Yeah.
We've been assuming that it's been Danny, but a lot of these mocks I'm seeing Billy taken before him.
Yeah.
We'll have to call our shot. We'll have the chat do it too. We're nearing the end of the stream. We're at 902 viewers right now, 903. So who knows? Maybe we get to 1,000. But let me do. Let me pay some bills real quick, and then I'll. And then chat while I'm doing this. Give your pick, your actual pick, not round, but round and pick in that round for Danny, Billy, and Ethan. Best guess. Danny, Billy, Ethan. Danny, Billy, Ethan. JP, you got one in mind?
Billy.
Yeah, but what? No, you got to do Billy, Danny, and Ethan. What round? What pick in that round for all three?
I got you.
And while you're thinking about that, because I wasn't clear on my questioning. Most of you got faded up earlier, right? So went over there to see my boy Easton. Easton from my social media. He's been my barber for like 11 years, I think now. He's been working at Boardroom Styling Lounge for, I think, 6 years now. And the fine folks over there are letting me give 20% off your first service to all JP and Trav viewers. Go into any Boardroom Styling Lounge nationwide. I think they're up to like 50 locations now. Use code TRAV20 for 20% off first service of your choice. Boardroom Styling Lounge, TRAV20. And I got to look good because we got our Joe C event tomorrow. So I'll be up there doing the fireside chat with Mr. Joe Castiglione. It's pretty wild, though, let me tell you. Like, when Toby did his, it was like, yeah, just have people raise their hand, ask me questions, whatever. Joe, you can tell Joe a little more authority involved. He was like his assistant was like, hey, gather questions, and we'll get them approved. We'll say, what ones, I'll reword them, and he'll do this, that, and the other. I'm like, dang. So I had to get him questions like a week ahead of time. But
That's crazy.
There's some really good questions, so I'm excited to get the answers on them. So
yeah, it should be good. It should be good for you.
I'm excited about it. I think we've sold it out. So
that's awesome.
About quadruple the size crowd we had for Toby, which Toby did a great job. I wish more people were there, but it was our first ever time doing something like that. So I think people are a little more comfortable with it now. So,
Yeah, sure.
All right. PSS says Danny 60, Billy 200, Ethan 201. Wow. Ethan up there. Actual pick number, Billy third pick of third round. Yeah, that works, Ryan. Third pick of third round, Danny, third round, third to last. Ethan, seventh round, eighth pick. Third, sixth. Getting some consensus on
a
couple third rounders, sixth or seventh round. I'm going to say third round, 10th pick for Billy, 3rd round, 20th pick for Danny, 7th round, 17th pick for Ethan. I'm gonna have to play this back so I can write it down. Those are my guesses. And with down the, with down the draft order, there's so many trades and everything like that. It's not like you can be like, oh, Ethan, 7th round, 17th pick to the, Vikings or whatever. Like, who knows who's going to have that pick on draft day?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's gonna be Danny 3rd, Billy 4th round, and then Ethan 7th. I would agree with that.
You got any picks so you and I can go head to head? I've got 10th, 20th, and 17th in mind.
I think I'm gonna say 15th of the 3rd. I'm gonna say 6th of the 4th.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna say 20th of the 7th.
All right.
So
we're in there. We're in there.
Yeah.
Now the draft class after that, man, R. Mason Thomas, Marvin Jones Jr. You got if Kip doesn't come back, you got Dominic Williams, you got Grayson Halton, you got RSJ, you got 3 offensive linemen, you got Jaden Ott, you might have John Mateer if he plays well.
John Mateer, yeah.
Got maybe Gentry. Like you're gonna have a pretty big draft class the following year, coming off a national title run, right?
Yeah. Hopefully. Man, it would just be so vindicating if we did that.
Yeah.
I would be so loud.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, loud in the fun way. Not in the disappointed father way.
Yes. So, yeah, we'll chat more about what we expect to see out of or who we feel like needs to have a big summer next week. But is there any other questions you guys have for us before we head out of here in a few minutes? Looking forward to hopefully seeing some Sooners names called tomorrow. We know probably for sure we'll see 2. I think it's not a question that Danny and Billy are going to get drafted. It's just where.
Not a question at all.
Ethan, there may be a question. I mean, he could go undrafted. I hope not, but could happen.
He'll be one of the first undrafted free agents if he doesn't. So
for sure. And I think he'll find a spot on the team.
I think so too. He's the perfect locker room guy.
Yeah, he got the size, and he's obviously athletic. He's athletic enough for sure.
I agree. Well, if there are no further questions, we can wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. So when I got my AirPods in, right, it reads you messages.
Yeah.
And so we're in a group chat with Les Wilson. Well, he's got it reads it in my AirPods as Les Wilson, as if it's French. Les Wilson.
Les Wilson.
No, man, that's brother Les. What you talking about? So, new commit thoughts for me are: you can't have enough 300+ pound Polynesians on your defensive line, so that gives us another one. Yeah. And he was at Utah State when Nate Dreiling was there as interim head coach. That means that he rubber stamped this. He might have, facilitated it. And if that's a guy that is if he's a young up and coming coach that's pinning his reputation to the recommendation of a player, I'll take it.
Take that for sure.
Yeah.
For
So
sure.
he will likely be a depth piece. Develop for a couple. Again, next year. What did I say earlier? It's tough to find a second guy in the portal. It's easy to find starters. It's tough. It's easy to find, you know, developmental pieces. It's tougher to find seconds. Well, after Grayson and Dominic go to the league next year, you got David Stone, Jaden Jackson, and then boom, there you go. You got,
Boom.
Trent Wilson and today's commit and all that. It's good timing for them to be developed like that. So
Yeah.
excited about it, but appreciate you all for joining. We topped out 969, 970, 971. Man, they running. That's all right. We're going to call it 1,000.
Yeah.
We're rounding
Close
up
enough.
around here.
We 30
We
off.
round. We rounded up around here.
Yeah.
So, anything else for the people, JP?
No, not at all. Just make sure that y'all like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Go over to YouTube if you haven't. Everybody that watches on Twitter at this point, if you could, before you hop off, go to the YouTube stream. I'm gonna get 40, 30,
It's
45
free.
seconds. Go to the YouTube stream, just like it. It helps us with the algorithm on YouTube. Get it in front of people's faces. But
It's
other
free.
than that, man, it is. It's free.
It's
Man,
free.
y'all
You're not going to get any
y'all.
emails. You're not going to get any emails or anything like that. Just go like it. I promise, it's fine.
That's all we asking. It's not much. But yeah, make sure y'all go say what's up. And we'll see y'all back here next week. Should be the same time, should be same date. Obviously, we kind of talk between Wednesdays, Thursdays, depending on what our schedule looks like. But we'll let you know what it's looking like. So who knows? Next month we may even do a live show together. Who knows? Wouldn't it be awesome if we did one from Burn?
Oh man, yeah, it would have to be a short one. I'll tell you that much.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
A real short one.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Yo, what are y'all two doing with a ring light in here? Turn that off."
Facts. What's going on?
Don't worry about it.
Reggie Wayne could make an appearance. You never know. I mean,
You never know. You never know. Now we got even closer. 983. Look at that. All right.
983.
Now we can really round up. That's easy peasy.
It's close enough. All right, y'all. We'll see y'all next week. Love y'all. Appreciate you. Boomer.